latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Viscom mobilizes HADR teams for Super Typhoon Pepito response in Eastern Visayas. Philippine Air Force conducts damage assessment, delivers aid to typhoon-hit Northern Luzon. More than 1.2 million fled their homes ahead of Pepito. COMEX says vote counting machines safe from floods.
Good day everyone, as well to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo, Quezon City. Today is Monday, November 18. We will bring you the latest news from the armed forces and other information around the Philippines. I am Rofh Suzon for AFP Community News.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our stories, the Visayas Command intensified its humanitarian assistance and disaster response efforts following the devastation caused by Super Typhoon Pepito in Eastern Visayas. 8 HADR teams comprising 66 officers and enlisted personnel were deployed for preemptive evacuations in Eastern Samar, while additional teams facilitated the delivery of relief goods to affected areas in Northern Samar, Eastern Samar, Samar, and Biliran. Over 20,000 families have been safely evacuated, with relief supplies promptly delivered to address immediate needs. Viscom remains on high alert to deploy additional resources as necessary.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippine Air Force carried out rapid damage assessment and needs analysis and relief operations in typhoon-affected areas of Northern Luzon. In coordination with the Office of Civil Defense Regional Office 2 and Cagayan Valley Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, Philippine Air Force used Black Hawk helicopters to assess damage and identify priority areas for relief. The Philippine Air Force also delivered 470 boxes of food packs, hygiene kits, and sleeping kits to isolated communities in Santa Margarita, Bagao, Cagayan. The Air Force reaffirmed its commitment to humanitarian efforts and supporting affected communities.
Armed Forces Radio.
From First CRG, let us hear some information from Meljoy about Special Forces prepare for immediate response as Typhoon Pepito hits Central Luzon.
Yes, Rofh, in response to the landfall of Tropical Storm Pepito in the Central Luzon region, the Special Forces Regiment Airborne of the Philippine Army has activated its emergency response company to assist with relief operations and deliver critical aid to affected communities. During a briefing held at the headquarters of the Special Forces Regiment yesterday in Fort Ramon, Magsaysay, Palayan City, the team's primary mission was outlined to ensure the safety of residents, provide emergency medical assistance, and conduct search and rescue operations in the impacted areas. The Special Forces are prepared to mobilize swiftly, demonstrating their commitment to aiding distressed communities and ensuring that essential support reaches those in need during this challenging time. This is Meljoy Arroco reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Meljoy from First CRG.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Shooting teams from the 10th ASEAN Armies gathered at Philippine Army's newly developed marksmanship training facility for the 32nd ASEAN Army's Rifle Meet 2024 at Camp O'Donnell, Capas, Tarlac. From November 14 to 22, 2024, sharpshooters competed in various categories, including carbine, pistol men, pistol women, rifle and machine gun, while also forging strong bonds through shared experiences beyond the competition. As the event concludes this week, the Philippine Army aims to leave a lasting legacy of camaraderie and partnership among the ASEAN armies.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
10 former violent extremists, including 9 members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters Karyalan faction and 1 from the BIFF Bungos faction, surrendered to the Joint Task Force Central in Maguindanao del Sur. The 33rd Infantry Battalion facilitated the surrender, which included the turnover of high-powered firearms such as M14 and M16 rifles, 50 caliber sniper rifle, and mortars during a presentation at the 33rd IB headquarters in Barangay Zapacan, Radha, Buayan. Western Mindanao Command Chief Lieutenant General William Gonzales praised the troops for their efforts to weaken terrorism in the area. On the other hand, the former fighters are now under 33rd IB custody for debriefing and profiling, with surrendered weapons secured for proper disposition.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Beth Tañete about Philippine Army host welcome dinner for ASEAN Deputy Chiefs of Army.
The Philippine Army hosted a welcome dinner for ASEAN Deputy Chief of Army at the Hilton Hotel in Clark, Freeford Zone ng Pampanga. The event followed the opening ceremony of EERAM 2024, which highlighted camaraderie among ASEAN staff marksmen. The Philippine Army Vice Commander Major General Ludovic Ginid emphasized the event's role in strengthening unity and cooperation among Asian armies. This is Beth Tañete reporting for the AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Beth Tañete.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
3 high-ranking leaders of the Southern Mindanao Regional Committee of the New People's Army were apprehended at Mabini Street, Bagua 3, Cotabato City. The arrested individuals were identified as Ruel Villanueva Cabales alias Aman, the SMRC Secretary, Catherine Napares Ginoo alias Duen, the Deputy Secretary and SMRC Executive Committee member, and Alma May Masalon alias Memi, an SMRC member. The arrests were based on warrants of arrest for various charges including illegal possession of firearms, destructive arson, attempted murder, and violations of international humanitarian law. Major General Alan Hambala, the commander of the 10th Infantry Division, commended the joint efforts of the military and police.
DWDD National News.
For our national news, for the weather update, Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 3 was raised over 3 areas as Typhoon Pepito moves over the West Philippine Sea. Signal number 3 is up in the northern and western portions of Ilocos Sur, the northwestern portion of La Union, and the western portion of Abra. These areas will have storm force winds with speeds of 89 to 117 kilometers per hour. This may bring moderate to significant threats to life and property.
Armed Forces Radio.
From Solcom, let us hear from Jess about Joint Task Force Bicolandia leads the relief and recovery efforts in typhoon-hit Catanduanes.
Yes, Rofh. Typhoon Pepito has left a significant impact across Bicol region, with the province of Catanduanes bearing the brunt of the damage. The typhoon caused widespread destruction, heavily affecting private properties and public infrastructure, leaving many residents in urgent need of assistance. In response, immediate relief activities are being carried out to address the aftermath of the disaster. The Joint Task Force Bicolandia has taken the lead in relief efforts, conducting road clearing operations, providing transportation support, and distributing relief essentials for affected communities. By working closely with the local government units and other agencies, JTF Bicolandia is ensuring that assistance reaches the most vulnerable areas swiftly and effectively. In addition to relief efforts, JTF Bicolandia is collaborating with the government agencies to implement developmental plans aimed at speeding up the recovery and rehabilitation of the region. These initiatives are focused on alleviating the hardships faced by the people of Catanduanes, helping them rebuild their lives and restore normalcy as quickly as possible. This is Jess from Solcom reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess from Solcom.
DWDD National News.
Classes at all levels in private and public schools in several cities in Metro Manila were suspended today due to Super Typhoon Pepito. Mandaluyong and Marikina local governments declared the suspension by DepEd Order Number 37 Series of 2022. This states that during natural disasters or calamities, classes in public schools are automatically suspended in areas under tropical cyclone warning signals 1, 2, 3, or 4. The local government of Pasig said the suspension of classes at all levels in private and public schools, it will also be based on the presence of a tropical cyclone warning signals over Metro Manila as of 4 a.m.
DWDD. National News.
More than 1.2 million people fled their homes ahead of Pepito as the Pag-asa warned of a life-threatening impact from the powerful storm. The typhoon uprooted trees, brought down power lines, and damaged houses after hitting Catanduanes. Office of Civil Defense Chief Ariel Nepomuceno said no deaths have been reported, but there was extensive damage to structures in the area. Significant weakening was expected as Pepito crossed Luzon, but severe flooding and landslides were expected because of intense to torrential rain.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
And now let's hear a report on the ground about PMA activists incident management team for Typhoon Pepito. Going for the details, Leonor.
The Philippine Military Academy has activated its incident management team for Typhoon Pepito, which has entered the Philippine area of responsibility. Under the guidance of Superintendent Vice Admiral Cesar Bernard Valencia, Brigadier General Paulo Teodoro led efforts to ensure facilities, emergency equipment, and mobility assets are ready for sustained operations. The Lopez Hall of Leaders has been designated as an evacuation center for civilians if needed. Moreover, the PMA is coordinating with local disaster councils to ensure rapid response. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Leonor.
DWDD. National News.
For other national news, 12 houses and a chapel were damaged by a tornado in Cagayan Sunday morning. According to the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, the tornado started in Sitio Limitong, Barangay Santa Cruz, and dissipated in Barangay Bagu. Another tornado was also reported in Barangay Macanaya, Apari, Cagayan. Several houses were also damaged. No injuries were reported in areas affected by the two tornadoes.
DWDD. National News.
Catanduanes Governor Joseph Cua has appealed to government and private individuals for help. Cua said that the province was severely devastated by Super Typhoon Pepito. The government disclosed that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has released a calamity fund of 50 million pesos, but said this was not enough. 32% of the 81,445 families in Catanduanes were affected by the typhoon.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
We have a report coming in from Gina about Army engineers step up rescue relief efforts in typhoon-hit Cagayan.
Of the 525th Engineer Combat Forerunner Battalion intensified rescue and relief operations for typhoon-affected families in Santa Ana, Cagayan. In coordination with government responders, the battalion's light urban search and rescue team distributed 238 relief packs to residents of barangays Diora, Sinungan, and Rapuli. They also rescued 14 vulnerable individuals from extensive flooding in Barangay Samok, Bato, and Marede. Relatedly, the Philippine Army reaffirmed its commitment to assist calamity-hit communities. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD. National News.
Moving on to another story, Philippine National Police Chief General Romel Francisco Marbil ordered all policemen to assist in the post-disaster response amid the reported devastation brought by Super Typhoon Pepito. Marbil directed the constant coordination with local government units in responding to the needs of the affected residents, especially those who were evacuated and those whose homes were partially or totally damaged. Almost 5,000 policemen were earlier deployed to assist the LGUs in ensuring the safety of local residents. This includes the preemptive evacuation of residents living along coastal zones and flash flood and landslide-prone areas.
DWDD National News.
The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines canceled some flights because of Super Typhoon Pepito. Philippine Airlines scrapped 67 domestic and 18 international flights for November 17 and 18. Budget carrier Cebu Pacific also canceled 8 domestic flights. Affected travelers have the option to convert their ticket to non-expiring travel credits equivalent to the unused segment of their ticket. They may also rebook or reroute their ticket to another flight with available space within 60 days from the original flight in the same booking class or higher within the same cabin class.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
Let us hear more updates from Joanne of First CRG. About 1,000 runners joined takbo para sa West Philippine Sea in Baguio City.
Close to 1,000 running enthusiasts and other supporters participated in the Baguio City leg of the Takbo para sa West Philippine Sea on Sunday, November 17, 2024. This advocacy run aims to raise awareness and rally public support for the Philippines' fight to uphold its sovereignty and maritime rights in the contested West Philippine Sea. The Run for West Philippine Sea in Baguio City has 3 categories: the 5-kilometer, 10-kilometer, and 16-kilometer run. All was started from Burnham Park Lake Drive early morning of Sunday. Presidential Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, and Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, a staunch and vocal advocate of the fight for the WPS, lead the run here with participants from the various government agencies, law enforcement agencies, civil society organizations, and other advocates. The run culminated at the Melvin Jones grounds where a program was held. Commodore Tariela, PIA Director General Catherine Chloe de Castro, and National Youth Commission Commissioner Carl Joseph Legaspi gave their respective messages. The top 3 winners in each category were also awarded. The event was organized by the Run Rio Incorporated with the Philippine Coast Guard, the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, the Presidential Communications Office, and the Philippine Information Agency. The Takbo para sa West Philippine Sea was earlier held in Manila, Cebu, and Cagayan de Oro, with thousands of participants showing their support to fight for the West Philippine Sea. For the Baguio leg of the advocacy run, the challenge was Typhoon Pepito, posing threat to northern and central Luzon over the weekend. However, the run was successfully conducted. This is Joan Sagaok reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne from First CRG.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
For other updates, let us hear the details about DND welcomes Malaysian Deputy Secretary General for Defense talks. Go ahead, Kath.
Yes, Rofh. The Department of National Defense welcomed Malaysia's Deputy Secretary General Palizim Mod Yani bin Daud for a courtesy visit at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City. The visit followed the 11th Combined Philippines-Malaysia Defense Cooperation Committee meeting, where both nations discussed enhancing defense ties, regional stability, and cooperation in defense technology. Senior Undersecretary Ireneo C. Espino highlighted mutual capacity building and efforts and technology exchange as key priorities for bolstering defense capabilities. Both parties reaffirmed their commitment to regional peace and stronger bilateral relations. This is Kat reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Kath.
DWDD National News.
For other development story, House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez said the lower chamber is ready to help the districts affected by Super Typhoon Pepito. Romualdez said they are just waiting for their members' report and on the damage in their respective areas so that funds can be released for the victims of the typhoon. Lawmakers whose areas were hit by the Super Typhoon are expected to submit their reports today. Super Typhoon Pepito first made landfall in Catanduanes late Saturday.
DWDD National News.
Commission on Elections Chair George Erwin Garcia assures the public that the automated counting machines or ACMs are safe from possible flooding due to Super Typhoon Pepito. This will be used in the upcoming 2025 midterm elections. More than 100,000 ACMs were stored in the Paul Buddy's warehouse in Binyan, Laguna. Garcia said the warehouse is safe from flooding because it is located on a high place.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from Ella Mercado about authorities nab EPD's top 1 most wanted person in BJMP Pasig.
A prisoner in BJMP Pasig has a possibility of not getting out after being issued of another arrest by Regional Trial Court Branch 268 Pasig City dated November 13, 2024 for the case of murder without corresponding bail. Based on the report submitted to Pasig City Police Chief, Police Colonel Hendrix Mangaldan, the accused was identified as a 26-year-old alias Loloy, which is considered to be a top 1 most wanted person in Metro East. Alias Loloy, who is a resident of Barangay Santa Ana, Taytay, will stay on Pasig City Jail to deal with the case filed against him. Whereas, according to the leadership of Pasig City Police Station, the constant catching to those required by law is part of their continuous peace campaign against crime. And this is Ella Mercado reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ella Mercado from Pasig City.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Glenn Gultian about PMA Honors Philippine Air Force Commanding General Lieutenant General Stephen Pareño with testimonial parade.
Yes, good afternoon. The Philippine Military Academy held a testimonial parade and review on at Borromeo Field, Fort del Pilar, Baguio City to honor Philippine Air Force Commanding General Lieutenant General Stephen P. Pareño. During the event, Lieutenant General Pareño received the Outstanding Philippine Military Academy Alumnus Award in recognition of his distinguished service and leadership as the head of the Philippine Air Force. In his address, he reflected on his PMA journey and encouraged cadets to trust in the Academy's transformative training. A member of PMA Sambisig class of 1991, Lieutenant General Pareño has an illustrious career marked by key leadership roles in over 3,000 flight hours. This is your Glenn Gulchan reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Glenn Gultian.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is scheduled to meet with United States Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin II in Malacanang today. Austin's visit to Manila is part of the U.S. government's continuing efforts to enhance its alliances and partnerships in the Indo-Pacific. This is the defense chief's fourth visit to the country. Austin was in Manila last July with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, where they and Marcos agreed to have regular meetings to ensure a timely response to issues amid continuing tension in the disputed South China Sea.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us, especially to our audience in our Facebook page, AFP Radio DWDD. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time and same station. Again, this is Rofh Suzon for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.